I'm going to tell you about a lake which essentially swallowed an entire city and even a graveyard.
1, 2, 3, funk it.
My darling, I love you, 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 I love you.
Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be telling you about Lake Lanier, which has so many videos created, but I feel like a lot of them miss out on the crime and the horror that this lake beholds, and just covers the lore, covers the urban legends. Well, I'm going to do all of those things in the next few videos. So prior to Lake Lanier being created in the 1950s, it was actually part of Oscarville, which was essentially an African-American city. And if you didn't already know, in the 1950s, the issues with race were very different. And so, as you hear throughout this story, it's a huge issue and a huge reason why there are so many crimes linked to the previous land this was on. So Oscarville, as I said before, was an African-American place where people lived, and it was also the site of racial conflict in 1912. The racial conflict caused so many people to move, 1,100 people to be exact, and the reason for this is there was rape and killing and a whole other terrifying story. So if you want to just skip that bit, click below. So an 18-year-old Caucasian woman called May Crow was raped and murdered in Oscarville on the bank of the Hatachiri River. This rape caused a lot of problems because the people who did it were essentially African-American. The names of the people and their ages were 16-year-old Ernest Knox, his 18-year-old cousin Oscar Daniel, 22-year-old Trusty Daniel, who was Oscar's sister, and 24-year-old Robert Edwards. So the day after the murderer's arrest, a mob of people actually came in and shot him, dragged him through the street, and hung him to die. He was hung from a telephone pole, and this obviously caused even more problems and even more anger from everyone else. So the night riders went door to door with guns and torches and just burnt down churches, businesses, which eventually caused them all to leave for the Caucasian people to take over the city. So because of this murder, a lot of people moved out and new people settled in. So it is very sad that the people who were mentioned online to do this crime actually are believed to have not have done it. So this whole story is just so wrong and so sad on so many levels. That story just makes me feel so sad and I hate it so much, but it's just part of the history. And I just wanted to tell you about this story because so many videos on this don't mention this story, and I'm like, why? Because this is a huge part of this lake and you don't mention it. Now let's get on to the actual story of how the lake came into being a lake. So where the lake is now, before it was there was actually a cemetery and little rabbits just bouncing around having fun. And then the US Army decided actually the towns and cities around this area need power, need water, so we're going to just get rid of it. Obviously that meant it was no more. The government actually offered people who lived around the area a lot of money, and obviously people didn't want to leave. People didn't want to leave their homes, their life behind. But you know, the government, they're sneaky people, and they convinced 700 families to flee. These allowed the area of the lake to be 56,000 acres, which is huge. So if you tried to swim across that, you would probably have a cramp and you wouldn't make it. So as these people's land just filled with water in 1956, this caused a lot of traffic jams, a lot of people to surround and watch history being covered up. Now we know that there's 625,000 gallons of water in this lake. So that is the equivalent of 950,000 Olympic pools. Oh my god. I feel like a lot of you are like, Hold on. How big was this city? What did this city have that made it so huge? Let me tell you that as well. Just the thought of that in my head is weird. Underneath this lake is actually an old racetrack, which is crazy, and they actually pulled up the bleachers so that it wouldn't come to the top. I feel like as a British person, it doesn't sound as cool saying bleachers. I don't know. My accent's just not cool enough. The small buildings are underneath, obviously. And obviously, as I said before, there is a graveyard, as many people know. And although a lot of the bodies and such were taken up, there were a lot of unmarked graves. Obviously, there are going to be some that we don't know about. So those were left under there. So imagine how sad that is. Like, some people's families are underneath this lake and they can't go and see them unless they want to just swim and die. So now let's go on to the nowadays of this lake. So as of 1994, people have died in this lake and a lot of the bodies actually haven't been found. So obviously some curse has taken over and just bodies disappear. I am scared of this lake. The Netflix drama Ozark, which is it's like a lot of high body count itself, has actually also been filmed this lake. So I'm probably going to finish watching this, get Netflix and watch the show. Something else that apparently people hear is a church and there's no church nearby. So dun dun the bogeyman plays the church bells because that's not possible. If you go onto YouTube, you can see a lot of people actually diving into these waters, and a huge catfish as big as a Volkswagen was under there, and there are sunken houseboats and other like history. Like, I feel like it'd be interesting to go in and dive, but when you know about the history, I'm just about to nope out of that because that is just too much. No thank you. So that is it for this video. This was the history of the lake. I'm gonna do another part of the video where I cover anything that I missed, the urban legends, because there are quite a few, and also I'm actually very interested in this lake, so I don't know how many more videos there will be because I'm sure that a lot of people have a lot more information, and this was just the tip of the Lake Lanier iceberg. I'm going to end the video here now that you're all scared of a lake. Next time will be very interesting. As I said before, this is the tip of the iceberg. Have a wonderful day and I'll see you very soon with another video. Goodbye, guys.